Nickel and dime your way to supersizing your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, also known as Jam Grandma. What the heck does that mean? Nickel and dime your way to supersizing and growing your business. Well, nickel and dime, this expression comes from, it's a 20th century expression. It's a relatively new expression. It's attributed to the African American slang, and it refers to unimportant, trivial, small, petty, little things, small time things. Nickels and dimes are, of course, in the United States, small change, right? They're small units of measure. Besides the penny, they're as small as you can get in our money system, our monetary system. And they're the exact opposite of big bucks, right? You know, all of us want to build a million or billion-dollar business. We don't want to build a little mom and pop shop or a nickel and dime or a dime store or even a dollar store, right? Maybe if you're in the dollar store business, ignore what I'm saying, but I think you understand what I'm saying. When we nickel and dime something, it means it's little expenses. It's little things that can add up to be big things, but it's actually the little day-to-day stuff that we sometimes take for granted or don't pay attention to, that it does add up. If you are, my mom, it's really funny, my mom used to say, you girls are going to nickel and dime me to death. And what she meant was, we always had some little expenses that we were coming to her with, or some little things we needed money for or wanted money for. And it probably started when we were just really little girls. You know, we'd go to the dime store. Literally, there were dime stores when I was a little girl. We'd go to the dime store, and of course, we'd all want a treat, or we'd all want, actually, that was back in the days when, like, Woolworths had the soda fountain and the snack bar and the cafe thing at the counter in the back of the store. Or we'd go to, what was the other one, Zayre Shopper City, and get the gigantuan ice cream cones. I remember those. Those were fun. So she would tease that we were always nickeling and diming her to death. And if you've got a business, and if you're listening to me, chances are you have a business and you're trying to grow it. Well, let me ask you a question. When was the last day something didn't come up in your business that you needed to expend resources on, or that was going to cost you resources, or you had to spend time or money or energy on? Because guess what? We can nickel and dime ourselves to death, or nickel and dime ourselves by wasting little pieces of time. And that's probably even more dangerous and more expensive than the small expenses that we incur in our business, the small things that we're not paying attention to. Now, like anything else, you can look at nickel and diming and small expenses as bad or good. You can just face the fact that things are always going to be happening and coming up in our business, as well as in our life and our relationships. And if you've got kids and are raising a family, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Nowadays, it seems like every other day the kids are coming home or they're knocking on the door for some kind of a fundraiser. Used to be they were going to go on a Girl Scout trip, or they were going to go on a big adventure, or they were going to have to raise money for a band trip or a big expense. And that turned into every sporting event needed to raise money. Every extracurricular after-school activity started a need to raise money. And then pretty soon it was the school and the classrooms themselves that were raising money just to function on a day-to-day basis. Now, that tells me we've got a fundamentally broken system if we are expecting our kids to always be raising money for the basic necessities in our schools. Subject for another day. But in our businesses and in our lives, stuff is always going to be coming up. And we can face it with, hey, that's life, this is just another experience, and I'm going to look for the positive in it. Or we can begrudge the things that are going to always come up, life's little expenses, and we can feel like we're being nickeled and dimed to death. Now, I didn't realize until I started doing this that is obviously a belief or a saying that I heard a lot when I was a kid. And I guarantee that has had some kind of an impact on my thinking about money and expenses and the day-to-day activities required to run a business and run our lives. And so I'm going to be doing a little work on that one, just to think about, has that impacted the way I look at these things, and do I want it to continue to color the way I see just stuff that happens and is going to continue to happen. You know, my coffee maker, I'm drinking tea today because my coffee maker, I need a new filter. I need a new water filter in my Keurig. And, you know, it starts to act up when you need a new water filter. So instead of struggling to make a cup of coffee, I just made a cup of tea. That's how we can approach these nickel and dime type things. It's just another experience. I can spend energy getting upset about it, or I can just spend all my energy solving the problem and moving on, overcoming the little challenge and moving on. I say with anything that we categorize as nickel and dime, which means a small a small inconvenience or a small thing that comes up, hey, we just let it roll right off us. We don't ever spend any time and energy feeling bad about it or negative about it in any way, shape, or form. Some people look at customer service challenges and issues. Whenever a customer asks a question or something, they look at that with this nickel and dime and negative mentality. And I say, flip that around and do just the opposite. We want to be looking at every customer question, concern, complaint as gold, because they are telling us exactly what we need to do to serve them better. But just know that, I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but it's not going to change. The bigger your business gets, guess what? The more things that are going to come up, the more experiences you're going to get to deal with, the more challenges you're going to get to face and overcome as your business grows. Our challenges and our problems and our opportunities don't change as our business grows, or they don't go away as our business grows. They just change. They just show up in different faces and with different on different days. It's just the nature of the beast. And it's not really a beast. It's a fun little dragon that we're going to tame. So, do you feel sometimes that you're being nickeled and dimed? Do you feel like there's just always a ton of little expenses? Or do you feel like, hey, it's just a part of doing business, it's a part of life, and I'm just going to learn to go with it? Where do you land on that spectrum of the little challenges, the little things that come up in life? I would love to have you share that in the comments below. If I can help you with any of those little challenges in any way, hit me up in the comments below or direct message me. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. Where does it come from? What is the origin of it? What might it mean with you and the people that you're interacting with every day as you're growing your business? That's it. Have an awesome day. Of course, be with you tomorrow.